You're listening to Ollie Gu, and I don't know if you're like me, but I like to have a little cheeky sing in the shower. I think people aren't listening to me, but my mum has kind of come out with the fact that I am quite loud. I don't know whether I'm good, but imagine the noise and how loud it would actually be if you were a world-class opera singer. I bet a cheeky sing in the shower would turn into something completely different. My next guest is a world-class opera singer, and he joins me in the programme. He's actually going to be in action at St James, not in the shower, next month, and his name is Szymon Wach. Welcome to the programme.
That's right, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
And good morning to everyone.
Good morning. So do you have a sing in the shower then?
Yes, well, yes, I do sing in the shower sometimes. I don't know what my neighbors think about it, but yeah, sometimes I do warm up at the shower. It's a good, good thing to do because you save some time, like in the morning when you go to the rehearsal, sometimes you just don't have that much time, so you go to the shower and you do like 12 things.
You've already warmed up your voice.
Yes,
you've already rehearsed.
Yes. That's really amazing thing about opera singers, that we've got our instrument with us, so we can do it under the shower. So we can also sometimes walk and maybe not with full voice, but you can sort of in delicate way you can warm it.
Not quite so easy to take a guitar into the shower, is it? So when you are singing, because obviously you have to project so much that your singing is very loud, actually, practicing within the home must be quite tough, because for me, whenever I've kind of been singing at home, you always kind of want to moderate the volume so that you don't irritate anybody, or so that you're not heard, because it's quite an embarrassing thing sometimes.
Well, you see, I always say, because when I sing sometime, or sometimes when or other singers are singing somewhere, opera singers, people say like, what a great talent, oh, what a talent, what a voice you've got, what a talent. But it is true that there has to be a talent, but obviously it's not that. It's lots of hard work, day-to-day work. What, for example, my routine look like? I woke up in the morning, I do some yoga, then I do this warm up, and obviously with voice, you have to do that warm up every day, because then you said about those levels, to adjust the levels. So this is about being in control, and it doesn't come to you like from heaven, for nothing. So you need to really earn that and gain that control. And to gain that control, you need to really do day-to-day practice and that sort of, like, I'm doing this routine. Maybe, I don't know this sort of people, but maybe there are some singers who can do it, like that straight away. But usually, yeah, it takes years to train the proper classical singer and to be fully in control with your voice.
I don't know if what I've heard is correct, but apparently the more you gain strength within opera singing, the more developed your muscles around your chest and your diaphragm become, because those are the kind of key important muscles in your body that you're using to sing. Is that true?
It's true, but the thing is here that you see, the trick here is to make correct muscles to do the correct work. So it's not that, like, it shouldn't be your hand doing the work of singing, so your hand should be really loose, and your whole body should be loose. There is a couple of muscles which are really low, like below your chest, and
so your low abdominal muscles and things like that.
Sure, yeah, the core muscles, sort of, maybe not core, but the diaphragm, especially. So there is I usually say, when we speak about the technique, so I usually could explain it that it looks like you create this big sort of, sorry, I forgot the word.
Cylinder?
Yeah, sort of cylinder, yeah, inside yourself. And then at the bottom, you've got this little muscle who does all the job, so he pulls the air out, up, and then you've got that air coming up, and then you put little ball on it, you know, and this little ball is the sound which you are producing.
So
and
you
this
bring it
little ball has to hit few places which are resonators, you know. So it is quite complicated in terms of, well, it is easy and it's complicated, you know how it is.
It's easy when you know how to do it,
you know? Yes. It's also it's lots of pleasure when you sing, you know. It is very enjoyable feeling. Hopefully for the listeners too.
I always wonder why it's so fun to sing, because I don't know many people who don't enjoy having a sing-along to something, whether it's in front of people or not. You know, after a few drinks doing the SingStar on the PlayStation or whatever. I wonder why it is so enjoyable singing.
Well, I think it's like everything. I think it's also a bit like with sport, for example. We've got all those Olympics we watch now, right? And we see those runners, those rowers, or other disciplines, and you really see that those people, of course, there is lots of effort and everything, but they, I think. They do like what they are doing, and then with singing it's pretty similar. I mean, it's doctors even call us also like the athletes, you know. It's really athletic thing. So I do the breathing exercises as well, and you know, the chests of opera singers, when you watch them, they usually have bigger chests, and like you mentioned earlier, that because that's the resonance, which is also obviously growing when you use it. So yes, so that's the thing, and so that's first thing. And another thing about why this pleasure appears, I think it's also the music itself. It's amazing to be a part of this, I don't know, secret energy, or how to call it, you know. The music is something extraordinary, and I think we all agree that this is this very special thing about it, and it's amazing to be a part of it. So
I spoke a little while back now, but to the lead singer of one of my favourite bands, and I was talking about the music's ability to change, the power that it has to change, and you know, over the years it's had an incredible effect on you know, people's ideas of politics, people's ideas of the world, and of war and other things going on in life. You know, not just the pure pleasure of it, but the ability for it to really change mindsets and perspectives. Is that what you're talking about? That kind of part of
yes,
it?
Yes, you see, you touched here really, really good thing, because opera, for example, if I could say something about that. So people are usually scared of opera, and they are like, well, what opera is really, you know? I mean, it's not for me. It's for people who, I don't know. Some people laugh of it, you know. Some people just think like, well, it's just not for me. Some people are scared, and but they don't realize that opera actually is describing the world which is around, you know. It's like other form of music and other form of art. I wouldn't say that it's, and it shouldn't be up there, you know, placed on some platform, you know, when you don't really know what they are singing about, you don't really know what they are talking about, because actually all those stories in opera and all those situations, those are really real stories of the people, you know, and this music is a really like sort of describing the world, you know. It's like it's part of our life, you know. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And something else to pick up on, actually, because you were mentioning the exercise and the fact that you start your day with yoga, and so why do you do that? Is it purely for the breathing? Is it to, I mean, yeah, what's the secret behind that?
As I said, like, we are athletes, right, singers, and so the first thing I started yoga to do was because of the basically the to develop the muscles, you know, to feel, to be able to you know, the voice to keep. I don't know. Sorry, yeah, I'm just thinking how to explain
That's
that.
okay.
It's quite. You see, you've got the voice, which is quite heavy. You know, itself an opera, the voice of an opera singer. Well, some are lighter, some are heavier, but let's say my is somewhere in the middle. So to be able to carry that voice, you need to redevelop those muscles, right? And I was talking about it before. And yoga. So I started to do yoga because of that. But obviously, when you go into yoga, you feel that it's not just that, you know, that it's much more. It's about being calm. It's about also some sacrifices. It's about just taking everything maybe easy, you know, and maybe just understand the world.
I suppose that transfers to when you step on the stage, that calmness. You almost understand
really
how to be calm a bit
yes.
better.
I do changed my attitude when I started to do it, because you obviously you go on the stage and you think just to give yourself to the people, you know, in terms of this energy, you know. So you give this energy to the people, and hopefully they will give it back to you, you know, in at the end of the show. So it's really important to and to be able to do that. Obviously yoga helps quite a lot, because it makes you to just think and focus on one thing, instead of just, you know, like thinking about all the world around, you know.
We're in the studio on BBC Radio Guernsey with Szymon Vach, and we're going to return to our discussion very shortly, and also in a few moments hear a piece of his work. But first, taking a short break for a bit of music from Eternal and Bebe Winans, and this is I Want to Be the Only One.
Yes, I see you crying. And I feel your broken heart. I can feel your hurting. Still you choose to play the part. If you let me be, I'll be all you need, all you need. I wanna be the only one to hold you, touch you from the right. I wanna be the only one to soothe you, erase all the pain. I wanna be the only one to love you over again. I wanna be the only one I am.
Now you deserve a mention.
My Lord, you do.
You can have the best of life. With all this I'll give you a pure love that gold can't buy. If you take a chance, I'll be worth the chance, worth the chance. Oh, I wanna be the only one to hold you,
Touch you from the right.
I wanna be the only one to soothe you,
Erase all the pain.
I wanna be the only one to love you
Over again.
I wanna be the only one, the only one.
Only
Why do so many people here in the bailiwick listen to BBC Radio Guernsey? Regular listener John is losing his sight, and he calls us his window on the world, particularly when things are getting him down.
You can't help the woe is me feeling, and this is hard to overcome. I find it very difficult. But there are godsends. Without embarrassing you, people such as yourselves, you never came into my home before. There was, dare I say, there was no need. I miss contact with people. I've got no window outside. But you provide that, and to me that is a godsend. It really is. I can't voice my appreciation any more than say thank you.
It's a pleasure, John, and we do it for people just like you. So make BBC Radio Guernsey part of your life. After all, we're part of your world, and we like to think we help. Just a bit.
You're listening to BBC Radio Guernsey. It's Ollie Guieu in the studio with Shimon Vach. He is a world-class opera singer, and we're talking about all things operatic and how singers are like athletes and what they have to do and the muscles they have to develop, and he does yoga every morning. And I wanted to move on to something you briefly touched on, and that is, a lot of people say, oh, well, opera's not for me. And there are surely many reasons why people feel that way about opera. And in the news recently, we have heard that for opera to kind of stay around and for it not to die off, it needs to become more accessible to younger people. So it needs to take away from some of that grandeur. It needs to aim itself or at least not be perceived to aim itself at just the upper classes. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree. You see, there is a big problem. When I've been to San Francisco, we had this conference, and some more experienced and important people than me were saying, we're basically talking about it, and this is a big problem. That in the past, opera never was the place which attract lots of young people, but usually it was like people when they hit 40, like 45 or something, like mid-age people, let's say. So then they sort of appeared in opera houses. But what they've noticed recently, that actually less and less people in their 40s, mid-age, as I said, like are starting to appear to opera. So this is really quite a problem, and I think it's also the fault of opera itself, of opera industry a bit. I hope I won't lose job here for saying that.
Well, I mean, here, just referring to the article I was talking about, it's pianist Stephen Hoff. He says he's called for classical concerts to be overhauled to attract younger audiences. He says performances should be shorter with no interval, and orchestras could drop their formal dress code. That's his opinion. Is that enough just to change the face of opera?
I'm not sure if that's enough, but I think it's a good step. It's a step towards the right direction. You see, today, let's see at the world today. We've got all the computers. We've got really this fast life. The life is much faster. We've got TV. We've got radio. Hello, and we've got films, for example, and. Did you think how long the film usually is? It's like 110 minutes, 120 minutes. Well, I'm not talking here Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings, for example, is also like chopped into 3 pieces, right? So those are the formats which people got used to, and then you go to opera, which is 4 hours long, for example, So, and the plot goes so much slower, and then you think, you arrive there, you hear a couple of recitatives, like "O mio caro Bio Figaretto," something, and then you go like, oh, what's that even, is it singing or is it speaking, and then you go like, oh God, it's not for me. No, I want to go. I want to leave. And then you are already bored, and then and then it's a bit long, and then you lose your your sort of
Momentum.
good attitude, you know,
Oh,
and
right,
then
yeah,
and then you're like, for opera can be beautiful later, but then you sat there for 2 hours and you're like, okay, I mean, now is the piece I was waiting for, but I mean, honestly, is it worth it?
Do you think
well,
it's because, and you mentioned we just become a bit more of a fast-paced society? I mean, there's a statistic which says on Facebook, videos, even if they're kind of 5 minutes long, most people will only watch them for a maximum of 30 seconds and then they'll flick straight past them. We're just becoming less inclined to stick around for things.
It is like that. You know, this Pokemon Go, right? This phenomenon recent. Why people even do that? Like, we've got the world like that, and it seems it's not enough for them.
Yeah.
They need something else. They need, like, some more things, like, I don't know, like, just waving around, or I don't know what.
The normal world
Just-
itself without the
Yeah, and-
Pokemon isn't enough to get them outside. They
Yeah,
need those Pokemon. Yeah.
That's what I think, that the world, I mean, but that's the direction the world's gonna go. I mean, whether we like it or we don't like it, it's the future, you know. Like, there are gonna be more and more things around our head. We're gonna have those glasses on, you know, and everything, but Google Glass and other things. But yes, but that's the thing, and so, but I don't think opera should change in terms of, like, the whole form of art, that we should get rid of the recit, we should get rid of all the duets and just leave the stuff. But I think that there is a place for some other forms which are more sort of which would be which could be like introduction for people who don't know this form
Kind
of
of
art.
accessible forms.
Yes, accessible forms. When you go, for example, yeah, I don't know whether I should talk about my concert here, but this is I thought about it also, about my project which I did. It's about, you've got those songs, for example, and you hear that, oh, this is actually quite nice tune, right? And then you and then you think, well, that was actually quite beautiful, but is it opera? Well, it's not opera, but it's a song, you know. But then you it's not that far from opera aria, and then you listen the opera aria, and well, it's not that different. You see, like, oh, wow, so it's nice. And then you go to opera performance, and you think, oh God, well, well, I'm gonna make this effort. I'm gonna go to this opera performance. I'm sorry, it's morning, no warm up today. So you
It's
hear the
almost
song.
like letting people watch Cinderella first before forcing them to watch Lord of the Rings.
That's the thing. Yes,
You know,
it's
rather
like,
than saying you have to watch Lord of the Rings every time, you also have the option to watch those shorter films, which are a little bit easier, a little bit lighter.
but we do that, don't we? In life, with everything, we just start with something, and we need to have this impulse, you know, this first thing, and then I don't know, when you start. I don't know, planting some stuff. I mean, it's
gardening.
not what I meant. Like gardening, yes. So you do this gardening, and then you start with, because you saw it in your friend, you know, and you saw this beautiful flower. So then you maybe go into it, and you plant this flower, and then you want another one, and then you want something else, and then maybe I'm gonna try with a tree, you know, and that's how it goes. And you don't plant, I don't know, from the beginning the whole garden, you know, because it's too much. Maybe it's good to do the little steps, right?
Well, we're going to have a listen to a piece of music. This is one of your recordings. Could you just introduce it for us?
So that's Ite vorria vasa. I'm longing to kiss you. So that song is about a man who is really in love with a girl, and she lays she just sleeps, and he thinks. He sings like, I want to kiss you, but I'm not sure what are you thinking about. Maybe you think about another man, but I'm so in love with you, and I really want to kiss you. So it's very basic, but very deep at the same time, you know, like in terms of this feeling of that he's afraid that maybe, you know, there is something else happening, you know.
Well, let's have a listen to it then. I Tevuria Vasa. That's a piece of music from Szymon Vak. He's my guest today on the programme. He is a world-class opera singer, and that was I Tevuria Vasa. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yes,
close enough
right.
anyway. I mean, incredible sounding voice. And do you think your voice, just your speaking voice in general, has deepened since you became an opera singer, since you learned how to sing operatically?
Well, when people start to sing, young people, I remember I did it. They usually go like, "Hello." So yeah, my voice is so much deeper than usually. But well, I guess we shouldn't be pushing it at all, you know. So maybe it did I try to not think about it. It's like it is, you know. I'm always, and this is the most important thing, I think it's in everything, to go as natural as you can, you know. So obviously right muscles doing right job, but always try to be natural, because that's what people want.
And if people have listened to that and they want to see you in concert, you are actually performing here in Guernsey. Just tell us the details of that concert.
So that's the concert. The name of the concert is The Baritone of Love. So it's on 9th of September in St. James. And what is different about this concert is that it's opera music. I'm gonna sing some opera arias. But what is different about it, it's not just, you know, you won't just hear the guy performing, you know, and singing, and you don't really know what he's singing about and why is he singing. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to break the convention a bit and try to learn to teach you something more about opera itself. So you will learn about characters, what they are doing, why they are singing this song. Obviously not much, it's not going to be a lecture, but
a lecture in song. Yeah.
Yes, I think what people it's what people especially people who are not really experienced with opera, I think it's what they need in terms of well, I need to say one more thing here, if you don't mind. So, because people sometimes make a mistake, like comparing to things, like putting them into one basket, let's say. So there is, you see, there is entertainment and there is art. You know, so sometimes it is like it goes together, but sometimes there is a difference, because you see, for entertainment you don't need to do any effort. You just put the song on and it's beautiful, and you go, oh wow, it's fun, you know, we've got that beat and everything. You see, for culture it's slightly different, because for culture you need to do this effort. So you go, you have to read, so there is this aria, so there is this opera, so why is it, what's happening in there? So you need the libretto, so you read about the composer or something else. It's same with art as well. I said art earlier, I meant of course culture. So at the end it's So here with this concert, it's slightly different, because I'm gonna do half of the job for you, you know. So you just come and you're gonna hear. So that's the character. So he's actually singing that song because, you see, he's in love with that girl. For example, King Philip, who came. That girl came to him and she said, "I love you," but actually he saw it in her eyes that she didn't love him, and he sings, "She never loved him," you know. And this is really touchy, touching, yeah. And many other, and that concert is like sort of a trip through different aspects of love. So the love is very basic subject, of course, we know it's very banal, but at the same time it's very deep when you think about it, and when you look from the perspective of the opera, because you've got the very animalistic love, very primitive, well, the Count is calling it love, but it's not really love, it's just a desire, which Count have to Susanna. Then you've got this Aleko who left his whole life and joined the group of gypsies, and he left everything for a love, for a girl, and then she comes to him and says that, you know, I don't love you anymore. We are just, you know, like, they've got little child next to them, and she says, no, I mean, I'm not interested in you. And then you realize that those stories, they happen in real life as well. That maybe, you know, this guy who is so, you know, like, and then you've got Don Giovanni, for example, who just, you know, like, sleeps with 1,000 girls only in Spain, and then you realize that maybe that Don Giovanni that's my friend who sits just there. He could sing this aria.
I mean, you say love's banal, but you'd be hard pressed to find a really successful pop song which doesn't include some reference to love. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye because we're moving on to a discussion about the Open Bass Festival happening in Guernsey. But before we do say farewell to you, Shimon, you want to give away 2 pairs of tickets for your concert. First come, first served. 200 373 is the number to call here at BBC Radio Guernsey. So that's 2 pairs of concert tickets, so 4, but for obviously couples.
That's
and if you leave your name and your number, we'll pass it on to Shimon and he'll get back to you. So first come, first served, 200 373 if you want to call in. The concert is called Baritone of Love. It's on the 9th of September at St James. Been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for
Thank you
joining
very
us.
much for having me.
All
Thank
the
you.
best. It's BBC Radio Guernsey. This is Cher.